Sounds like they're going to be missing in action for at least a week, could be longer, according to a lot of the insiders on Twitter. But with that, we bring in our friend Melly, Barry Melrose. How I have missed you. I have not seen you or spoken to you in months, maybe 10 of them. I'm not sure, but it's been a minute. So welcome to the show, and I'm going to ask you a question that I would have asked you like 3 weeks ago, but I'm going to ask you now because I haven't talked to you. This schedule, the format, the divisions, what does Melly think? Are you in? Are you out? Are you entertained? What's going on?
I'm entertained. I like it. I always felt 82 games is too many. I wasn't a fancy skater like Stu there. It was hard for me to get around the ice, so I didn't mind having fewer games. And I could live with 60. I always thought 60 was a good number. They had it in the old days. The players seemed to excel under conditions like that. So I didn't think we needed 82 games. And games are more. And people always complained about the NHL. What do they complain about? Too many games. Too many teams make the playoffs. You don't have enough excitement. Well, we got all the stuff that you need now. Fewer games. Games mean more. You can't go into a slump. If you lose 5 or 6 games, you could be out of the playoffs in October. And that's what people were complaining about. October meant nothing. Well, October means something now. You look at Dallas. Dallas comes out and wins first 4 games after going on the pandemic. And, now they've climbed right back in it. So I like what they've done. I would hope that down the road that they'll say we don't need 82 games. 70s will be enough, something like that. So overall, I like the importance of the games. I like the intensity of the games. I like the hunger of the games. And I like the fact that the guys know there's going to be injuries. That's the one negative. We're playing so hard at such a high speed that there are guys getting hurt. But I just think the product on the ice is great. And I love the intensity that the players are showing because they know the old saying, you can't win the cup in October, but you can lose the cup in October. And everyone realized that in the dressing rooms.
All right, Melly, listen, you're a good Canadian boy, even though you're down there sunning yourself in Florida. So I hope you're enjoying yourself while we suffer, but nothing new there. But how do you like the North Division with all the Canadian teams?
I like it. Like I said, I'm an innovative guy. I've always thought outside the box, and I wanted my players to think outside the box. So the NHL came up with a great idea. They didn't... just say, well, we've got this, and this division will be called the Clarence Campbell division. They came up with a plan, put all the Canadian teams in one division, and have them play each other 47 times before the playoffs start, and bring the best one out. I like it. I really like it. I like the other night we have a fight right off the bat in Game 4. 2 teams have played each other the 4th time, and we get the scrap right off the bat. I love that. I love that intensity. I'm one of those guys that say, what are we trying to take this out of the game for? We should try and put more fighting in the game. But people see how exciting it is when 2 teams that have played each other 4 times, they hate each other. And Stu will tell you, and you hate people when you play them 2 times. You got a dislike for them when you play them 1 time. But to play them 4 times, that's just ultra hatred between the 2 teams. And I love it. Hatred's good in sports. Hatred's good in sports.
Yeah, not a bad thing at all. Familiarity and more frequency. Seeing another club breeds animosity. Not a bad thing for the game at all. Good to see you, Coach. Appreciate the compliment. I've been called a lot of things. Above average speed is not one of them. Never called that. Hey, just keeping with the Nova, the Scotia.
I can't believe that never got up. What's that, bud?
Hey. I was going to keep with the North Division. I was going to keep with the North Division theme. Tyler Toffoli, 6 goals, 8 games. What do you like in the Habs?
Well, he's been great. They loved him in L.A. Like he played well in L.A. when he was there. He started struggling a little bit. They had to move him, but a great fit for Montreal. Everything Montreal does now is working, right? Remember a few months ago or 6 months ago, nothing Montreal did work. If Carey Price didn't stop 50 shots, they had no chance of winning. Now Carey Price's numbers aren't even that great, and Montreal is one of the best teams in hockey right now. So Toffoli is a good all-around two-way player. Right now he's on fire. He's not going to continue doing this, but that when you can score on that shorthanded goal the way he beat it up the ice, from one side of the pail to the other, and goes in and scores, you know it's your month right then. So I think he's been a great fit. I think Montreal's done a lot of good things. The old defenseman, Shea Weber's back to what Shea Weber used to do, those 100-mile-an-hour slap shots. So I'm a believer in Montreal. I think they've got a lot of good things going now. And, when you make a deal like that, you get Trifoli, you know you're living a good life right now if you're the general manager, Bergeron. Because, not that long ago, you'd have thought he was fired by now, and now he might get the Executive of the Year.
Yeah, geek to chic. Marc Bergevin has completely revamped his reputation for all the critics or naysayers that were around, I don't know, like 6 months ago. But, enough of this Canada stuff. It's like Canada bias right now. So I'm going to go over to the East Division. We got the Caps and the Bruins in action tonight, Melly. What have you liked from those two teams so far? Because they look like they're going to duke it out at the top of that division all season.
I'm a character guy. I love energy. I love passion. I love players like that. I believe will beats skill. And what I love about both these teams, Washington and Boston, is the character guys on their team find a way to win. Obviously, right off the top, you got the Washington Capitals. They end up in quarantine. You got 4 of their best players being suspended. The first guy to score a goal, I believe, the next game was Nicky Backstrom. Nicky Backstrom's not a goal scorer. Nicky Backstrom's passed through the puck. But they need a goal scorer. They got guys out with injury. They got skilled guys out with injury. So Nicky Backstrom all of a sudden starts putting the puck in the net. You've got TJ Oshie. TJ Oshie is a scorer, but not an elite scorer. Now he's playing center on the number 1 and maybe number 2 lines and just playing unbelievable hockey. So the Caps are doing that just next up policy, and it's just working to a tilt because the guys are playing so hard. And the Boston Bruins do the exact same thing. Boston, of course, Pasternak is out. He's back last game, looked okay. But the guy that carried the Marchand, right off the bat, Marchand goes crazy, gets a shorthanded goal, one of the first nights he played, and just took over the offensive weapons of the Boston Bruins. Defensively, they got a couple young guys hurt and beat up. So you've got the McAvoy. Charlie McAvoy ends up taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, goes in. The last game, I think he got 2 points, 2 goals, and ended up being the guy that won the game for him. So the Bruins and the Caps are so similar in the way they play, what they stress, the type of structure they have, and character. And they expect guys to succeed. They don't expect you to come in, be timid, and not play. But if you're going into the lineup of one of those two teams, you better go out there and do what they tell you to do, because you have a chance of playing for a team like that. So I love both those teams. I love the way they're playing right now. Washington is playing as good as I've seen them play in a long, long time. Goaltending, they got a new goaltender. But I really like both these teams, and I just love the way they play. And again, I just love the character they show when they put someone in the lineup. And if I'm on a young guy in the bench and I'm seeing Marchand, Nicky Backstrom, TJ Oshie, I'm seeing those guys play so hard, how can I not go out there and work my butt off if those superstars that make so much money are doing the job too? So I really enjoy those two teams, and those are the type of teams that coaches love to coach, because they play so hard, and you never have to worry about them being ready. You think you have to worry about the Caps being ready or the Bruins being ready? I don't think so.
Well, Melly, first off, I'm glad to see you got that NHL Network blanket I sent you, so I'm glad to see you put it to good use. I want to ask you about the West, Melly. We talked about the East. Let's talk about the West. Who's going to win the West?
How did your eyes get so good? You never had good eyes.
Well, maybe it's just your eyes are getting worse. You never know.
No, well, that's true. That's definitely true.
Who's going to win?
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Who's going to win the West, Melly? You like Vegas, or do you like Colorado, St. Louis?
Colorado.
That's a tough call.
Colorado.
Okay, why?
Colorado Avalanche. I think that both those teams are. Why? Talent level, passion, how hard they play. They're hitting 7 posts a game. Every game they play now, they're hitting 7 posts, and now those are starting to go in. Speed. They're just built for today's NHL. Their defense are just joining the rush. They're really hard to pick up when you have a defenseman shooting from behind all the time the way they do. And they're just going to get better and better because these pucks will start going in. The goaltending has been fine. Defense, arguably the best defenseman, best defense in the NHL, and their forwards are spectacular. So it's them or Vegas in the West. Those are by far the 2 best teams in the West. So I would think it's going to be one of those 2 teams.
All right. Well, I just think next time that we have you on, Melly, we got to get your thoughts on all the retro jerseys, but we'll save that for another day. Get your commentary on some of the swag.
I like most of them. I like most of them. Yeah.
Most is the key.
Has EJ got a new one of every jersey? Does he have a new one already?
Yes.
Oh, he wishes.
Yes.
He wishes.
Yes.
Yeah. He doesn't quite have the hookup that Jamie Hirsch has.
I've seen him in action. I would say he does. I would say he does.
Yeah. Melly knows. Melly knows.
All right. Well. Yeah. Oh, that I definitely know. Yeah. Melly, always a pleasure. We'll have you back on for a style segment in the near future. One can only hope. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Take care. Drive careful.